So here's an example. So this is a Idea Virus. This is an ebook, been downloaded 2 million times, very popular. You think, why in the heck are we doing this? Well, first of all, it's 10 years old, so we updated it. So we took it out of the backlist. So some of the examples of the company that Seth used may have gone out of business or weren't as successful as he imagined. So we updated it with current companies. We abridged it. We shortened it. We then got a really great filmmaker. Her name is?
Rachel Webster.
Rich Webster?
Rachel Webster, yeah.
Rachel Webster here in New York, and then some other filmmakers, because again, this distributed filmmaker where we actually filmed these people, these case studies, and all these cool companies, which again are dispersed all over. So you not only get Seth's ideas and his writing, but you get to meet all these people he talks about. You get to meet Seth. He connects all the dots in his video. 18 videos integrated into it. This is one approach. For those of you that know inspirational business, this is a category we really like. Why? Because of the influencers, and it's kind of made for that form. So that's one area that we're excited about. And it doesn't mean that's where we're going or where mixed media is going, but we do need, as we're trying to create a new category, create a whole new idea, we need these influencers, and they really play an important role. Are we doing okay on time? Okay. So here's one that's intuitive, but I'll tell you why it may not be as intuitive as we think. And this is sold very well. An example of this is a book called The 90-Second Workout. Of the titles sold, if you look at the kind of metrics of things like the Kindle, typically if it does well, an ebook is about 5% of hardcover sales. This was actually 50% of hardcover sales. Now, there weren't as many hardcover sales as the publisher would like, but it demonstrates the form works. And this one intuitively makes sense. This is a fitness book, and if you look at this, you know, you got the workouts, and then you got a video explanation. I think the challenge in how-to, even though it's intuitive, is that the internet's providing that fairly well, like cooking and workout. I always tell this story. At Turn Here, we did a lot of how-to videos when we got started. And one of the ones I wanted someone to shoot right away was how to light a water heater. And the reason I wanted that is I have this little house up in Sonoma, and I have an old-fashioned water heater, and I've had this fear since I was a kid about blowing up the house, because I think back in the farm country where some houses blew up from the water heater, and I was afraid to light my water heater. So I'd come up there, be cold, be the weekend, and the water heater wasn't working, and I was afraid to light it. So I said, please, show me how to light my water heater. So a very creative filmmaker, he used a mirror with the camera that made you feel like you were in the water heater. And when you're in the water heater, it's pretty simple. So you're like in this how-to video, you're sitting in the water heater and you see how the parts work, as opposed to that dark mystery with cobwebs, or you're sticking the match in there and afraid it's gonna blow up on you. So what's happened on the internet is this, you know, bow tie, how to do this, how to do that. That body of work that's on the internet is really extraordinary. It's probably one of the most powerful things about the YouTube search engine. So I think all of us have to figure out when we produce these books, while it's intuitive instructional, we have to create some value that's greater or more interesting, or some combination of mixed media that, or otherwise it'll compete with working pretty well on the internet. But this one is done very well. I mean, done very well for us. It's done with Simon & Schuster, and we're really excited about it. One of the things that you know, we experimented work with was we took 2 novellas written just for this form with Simon & Schuster. And this was really kind of daring, and we got a lot of literary criticism, which we were welcome, because we think controversy is part of creating new products. But you know, can you have filmmakers and authors where the text and the video are integrated so seamlessly that in order to go from the text, an important element of the text, to the next element of the text, you're actually watching a video, where the video is part of the story. It's either a clue, or it's a bridge, or it actually tells the story. And that's what we attempted here. I am probably the biggest fan of this, and even though some of my peers think I'm crazy, because I know it's going to happen with creators. It's just, you know, this is our first rendition, but it did pretty well. But we always tell people, you know, just kind of, I always use the Tate and the Tate Modern. You know, if you want to see the old way, you go to the Tate, and if you want to see mixed media, new art, modern art, it's the Tate Modern. And that world, that museum is as packed with people as the Tate, and that's why, because people look at art differently. And it's happened in art forever. You look, the Blair Witch Project, great example of Hollywood said, this is the way you do it. Well, in fact, there was a different way to do it. And not only was it very popular, but it was a commercial hit at very low cost. Not sure what I'm showing here.
to Anne Rice?
Oh, this is just Anne Rice's. I don't know if you've seen this, but